Hi, I'm Reverend Janice Chrysler, and I'm here for your Messages from Spirit on this Friday, July the 10th, 2026. If you're able to join me today to get the message for this week for you and also for collectively, I do a reading for the week. But I also believe that if you're tuning in maybe a week from now, a month from now, and you feel drawn to take part in this reading, the message is still there for you. And I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe so you know when these live readings and throughout the week, my morning meditations come on. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and also don't be afraid to share this. I'd love for the word to get out for other people. You never know what message that Spirit may have for them as well. What I do is I use my cards. The Goddess Speaks. These are cards that I designed a few years ago. And my daughter, who is an artist, designed the artwork on these cards. And that's Chris Chrysler. If you want to look her up, she does a lot of beautiful work. And all I do is I'm asking Spirit to reveal a message for the higher good of all who are taking part in this. I will draw 3 cards. You choose which one you are drawn to. Let your intuition guide you. Don't overthink it. If you think, oh, I like card number 2 today, stick with that. At the end, I will put all 3 cards together to do a reading for the collective. And that will be our guiding words for the week ahead. So are you ready? Make yourself comfortable. Whoops, I just about dropped them all. Now, if one card drops, I believe it's meant to be kept, but if the whole deck, that's just me being clumsy. Okay, so take a moment and just take a deep breath. And exhale, relax your body, open your mind, and say to yourself, I am open to receive a message for my higher good. And here we go. I shuffle until I feel guided to stop. This is card number 1. All right. And I will show them again at the end. So if you're undecided which card it is, you'll have a chance. Card number 2. And finally, I'm really dropping cards today. That was too many again. Card number 3. I am going to shuffle. Since I've dropped so many, I'm going to see if I'm guided to draw another card. But it will be used at the end. Okay, I'm not going to show you that one yet. I was guided as to where to place it, and I'll explain that later. Okay, so once more, here's card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. All right, very interesting. Remember that this deck is called the Goddess Speaks. It has the Maiden, the Mother, and the Crone, the triple goddess. Each one has its own energy, and when their face appears on the card, I am guided to use that energy in the explanation of the word. There are 13 cards for each of these energies within the deck. So, it's a good deal that you get it all mixed up. This week, it's interesting that the cards, to me, that the cards were drawn and selected in the order of those energies. And you'll see what I mean here. Card number 1 is the Maiden. And she's saying playfulness is important for you this week. What a nice card to get. You get to be playful. And it sounds like a lot of fun, and it can be. But for those that chose this card, you've been neglecting yourself. You've been neglecting taking that time out to be childlike, not childish, but childlike, in that getting out there and doing something that's fun. You've had a lot of worries, you've had a lot of human experience going on in your life. Maybe you've been worried financially and decisions that you've had to make, even with health issues, that not to say to neglect them or they're not important to you, but sometimes we need to just separate ourselves from all of those things and just have fun. Just be playful. Whether that's going somewhere, maybe I feel that some of you watching have either small children, you're a parent to small children or a grandparent. Take the little kids and go somewhere, and they'll have fun, and so will you. Let yourself just relax and be. Go to the beach, just go for the day. Put your phone away and just enjoy being outside. Kick the ball around, run under a in the splash pad or something, get yourself wet. Do something that is enjoyable. Maybe other times you consider it frivolous, but it is very important for you. So this week, when opportunities present themselves or you make them present themselves, get yourself out there doing something that to you is playful. You may be a very quiet type person but yet you're holding a lot in here. Maybe to be playful to you is even things that are indoors that you enjoy doing a puzzle. Do you enjoy reading a book and you haven't taken time to do those simple things? This week, it's very important that you find those times because when you do and you refresh yourself, then you can face all these other more difficult things in your life much easier. All right, so that's a nice way to start, I think. So now the next card is our mother. Now, this is what I find interesting. Out of all these cards, these are following the order: the maiden, the mother, and you can guess card number 3 is going to be the crow. So here is the mother, and she is talking about expectation. Now, the mother, she's a little more organized than the maiden energy. She likes to have things a certain way. That is her expectation of things. Now, this can go two ways. The first one that's coming through to me very strongly for someone that chose this card is that you have an expectation of how things should be played out, how things should happen, the order they should be done, the way they should be done, and when they should be done, and who should maybe even do them. That is okay. That's the mother's strong point. That's her energy. She's able to organize things. She's able to get things done. She's able to create things and know how to make it work and delegate. Now, the downside of that is sometimes you have expectations on things, and when they don't play out exactly how you want it to, you're disappointed, or you think it hasn't worked, or you get frustrated. So it's reminding you really this week to say that the best laid plans, as the saying goes, can there can be things, bumps in the road. There can be things that come that interfere with those expectations. And that sometimes is a blessing because maybe your plan, there's nothing wrong with it, the way it's to be executed and carried out. But maybe the timing isn't quite right. And these interruptions could be providing you with that time to sit back and re-examine things, to see if maybe there's even a better way to implement these things. Also, you can lose sight of an opportunity that's presented to you if your expectations are over here and what's going on is over here and you're looking right over top of it. You can't see it because it's maybe not to what you thought it should be. In relationships, really be careful of this. Yes, you should have expectations on how you should be treated and how the relationship should work out and everybody's kind of role in that. That's perfectly fine. You do need to know those things. But sometimes I find it so much in coaching when people come to me, they feel someone doesn't love them enough or the way that they want to be loved because they have these expectations of unless they say or do things a certain way, that must mean that they don't love me. Instead of looking at that individual, how is it that they express? Are they trying to express their way of loving you? But you're not seeing it. You're turning it away because it isn't what you want. If you want them to say certain things and yet they're a person of few words, yet their actions are showing you that they're there with you, they want to spend time with you, or all of these things. And yet, because they're not saying the words exactly how you want, all this other stuff doesn't matter to you. So sometimes we have to examine our own expectations as to how they actually affect us. Are we actually putting our expectations to a certain degree that we're actually missing things? Then again, there's a flip side of that. You need to have certain amount of expectations in order to manifest things in your life. So it's just to be mindful of having that balance of what it is that you're looking for and expecting. I feel as though for those of you that you can have too low of expectations that, I'll just be grateful for anything that happens. That's true too. But you need to be open and to be genuinely grateful for the things coming into your life. This next week is going to provide things that meet your expectations. So be ready. If you've got expectations out there, what are you going to do when they're met? Make sure you're in a position to follow through. All right, card number 3, is the mother. Or is the crone, sorry. Got stuck on the mother back there. She was a mother. That's why she's a crone now. She's been the maiden, been the mother. She's here with all wisdom. And she's also, because she has that wisdom, she steps into the leader. And some of you may say, well, I'm not a leader. That's not my personality. I'm not going to get up in front of a bunch of people. A leader isn't always someone who has to stand before a crowd and do a talk or do a workshop or take a leadership position at a firm or anything like that. A leader can be one-on-one. You carry wisdom, past life experiences, this life experiences that you can share with other people when they ask and approach you. You don't need to go out and set up your soapbox and stand on it on the corner proclaiming all your wisdom to the world. This is more about a quieter leadership. It's about that more of a one-on-one, a friend, a neighbor, someone you meet in the grocery store who starts talking to you for some reason. You wonder, why are they telling me all this? It's because you carry within you knowledge of past experiences that now is going to be the time when you can share that wisdom with other people. It doesn't mean that you have to go back and say, well, in 1973, this happened to me, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for, what all happened. But you also know, you can say to someone that I know from experience that when these things happen, you may feel this way. And when they acknowledge that, yes, that's how they're feeling, this is what I found helped myself or someone work through that. You can share that. And that in turn helps them. They may not do exactly what you said, but often just to have someone to talk to who listens to them that you feel or that they feel understands the situation can be a great relief to them, can help relieve some of that burden. So don't be afraid to be the crone, to share your wisdom. Elders forever in many cultures were always the ones that were highly revered because of their life experience and wisdom gained. Unfortunately, in our society, um, over the years, they've tend to look the other way to that, but I think it's starting to switch back around again. We need the enthusiasm of the maiden energy, the willingness to step into new things. We need the mother energy who knows how to bring it together and make it work, to create those ideas into something tangible, we'll say. But then we also know that we need the wisdom of the crone who carries with her that energy of having been the maiden, having been the mother, and understanding the difficulties that may be aroused, but have worked through it to know and through experience what worked and what the results were of some of those actions. So it's you are the leader this week. There are opportunities that are going to present themselves where you can share your crone wisdom. Don't be afraid to. All right. So, what happens when we put those all together and then choose or see the card that was chosen for us, the fourth card? So, if we remember, the first card was a maiden and it was about playfulness. So, this is the center of our reading for all of us for this week. So, don't dismay those of you that didn't choose card number 1 and maybe thinking, "Oh yeah, they get to be playful and I got to have look at my expectations and my share my wisdom." It all works together in a fun way. So, in order to have the playfulness, something that we need to be mindful of are and is our expectations. How does that look to you? Are you overthinking it and then watching that opportunity slip away? So don't let your expectations of what playfulness is get in the way and end up denying you that opportunity that you're actually looking for. And how can you help with that? Well, the crone, she has the wisdom and she can be the instigator in this case. Maybe it's time for us all to say, you know what? I'm just gonna go with it. And that particular idea there, I've done it before and didn't care for it. So this is where the fourth card comes in. It's a maiden again with new ideas. That's the only thing sometimes a crone can be a hindrance in is that she thinks she already knows how everything's going to turn out and is a little bit stubborn. But she's being reminded because I was told to put this card with the crone is instigate some new ideas. All right. And don't let previous experiences, well, let them guide you to the point where you know certain things didn't work. So let's not do it that way, but let's just revamp that new idea into something that will be workable. Keep the fun in it and don't let the expectations be negative. Be Go into it with, hey, this is going to be fun. However it turns out, going to have a good week and we're going to enjoy it. So everybody, look for some playfulness in your time. Learn from your past experiences, but be open to some new ideas and challenge yourself a little bit. Let me know how this works for you. I love to hear from you. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. See you back here on Monday for morning meditations. Namaste.